It's a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld Today. I'm your host, Stuffy Nose B-Ron this morning. You probably can't tell, but my co-host here is Yells, as always. Good morning, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm great. It's Wednesday. It's hump day.
Okay.
I'm ready,
Yeah.
man. I got my morning salad going. I got my morning tea.
All right.
But I think we're about to get into some tea now, are we not?
Yes, we are. Justin Bell. Look. Dark horse for Player of the Year contender Justin Bell. I feel like that is something that should be on more people's minds. For whatever reason, we're not talking about him as much as I think we should. Um, I think that Justin Bell is a clear dark horse for Player of the Year because of where he's playing at and what he did for that Rocky Mountain team last season. Uh, I've been creeping a little bit on social media, and I'm seeing some slander and some people who maybe haven't done the research that they probably should be doing on Justin Bell. Uh, so yeah, just my quick initial thoughts on that. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, Justin Bill's that dude, though.
Yeah,
He's got all the tools in the tool belt. In my opinion, he's got size, he's got range, he's got length. That wingspan is nice. He's got a nice, silky, soft jumper. He can get to the basket. He can get hot and heat up. We've seen him where he just went on runs by himself.
yeah.
He's absolutely. I think you could put him in contention for a dark horse for Player of the Year. But the other side of that is how's coach going to utilize him? How's team going to utilize his skill set? How will he figure into the lineup? What exactly are coach's plans? To my
That's
understanding,
true. Yeah.
as far as we know, I think he's supposed to be a a centerpiece of the team, which. Go figure. That probably should be the case.
Yeah.
You still got Daquan McDougal there. You still got Lucas Banks. Lucas Banks is a big time facilitator. He can go get a bucket, but he does a little bit. He does a lot of bit of everything, all of the time.
Yeah.
You got that. You got Daquan McDougal likes to go roll to the rim. And he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands, so that puts the ball in Justin Bell's hands. So I think he has a huge opportunity to be even more of a focus than he was last year. So I think it's a good call.
Justin Bell still there, McDougal still there, like you said, Lucas Banks still there, and Zane Davis is still there. Another one of those key players from last season. Zane Davis, was a sharpshooter, much like Island Early was for that team. Early led the team in threes last season, made 77 threes, but Justin Bell showed he could do a little bit of everything. And on the offensive side, especially, he led the team in scoring, 15 and a half points per game last season. Uh, Three of the other players who I mentioned, well, two of the other players mentioned, McDougal and Banks, both also had double digits in scoring. So I mentioned it the other day when I said that Rocky Mountain was a team last season that got it done by committee, and that's very true. But Justin Bell was, for the most part, one of the main focuses of this by committee team in terms of their offense.
Yeah,
So if anybody can get it done, can get it done, it's Justin Bell. And let's also not forget too that Rocky Mountain led the team. Rocky Mountain led the league last season in points per game. 74.8 points per game, right
yep.
behind them are the OGs by zero point 0.4 points. So like both of those offenses were prolific last season, and again, Justin Bell was a big reason for that. So I feel like Justin's gonna be the main guy that you go to again this season. Now that you know what he can do, because once he kind of burst onto the scene, that was it. So
Yeah.
I feel like to back off of that now would be doing both him and Rocky Mountain a disservice, and I don't think that Coach Robinson is going to do that. I think he knows what he has with Justin Bell, with McDougal, with Banks, with Davis. He's going to get all those kids involved, but Justin Bell is going to be the main one. Yeah,
Yep, yep,
I'm
yep.
very passionate about this. Very passionate about this morning, y'all. I don't understand the slander for just about. I don't get it. I don't get it, man.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot of slander to it. I think he's there. In my opinion, composite ranking 11 for a reason. He's that dude. I don't see the slander. I see hating. But I do think I do think he's going to be right there. I think
Hate
he's
slander,
absolutely going to be right
maybe
there.
one and the same in my book and situation here. But look, man, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. So we got the season getting ready to start, and as we know, with the season starting, things are gonna start to get very real here really soon, and we're gonna see a lot of things go well, a lot of things not go well, and the big thing is when things don't go well is usually when you start to hear a lot of players talking and that kind of stuff, be it for them personally or as a team. I always want to bring it up because it's something that stuck out to me last season. Ethan Letterman played for Showtime last season. They were playing well, and they were one of those top echelon teams in the league. But Ethan wasn't getting the playing time that he wanted, and we would hear about things that he would say and that kind of stuff. We would hear him complain about that kind of thing. So that is an individual standpoint. As a team, they're doing well. So coaches, I think, are gonna have a hard time keeping their players out of the media if they don't play well, or if the team as a whole isn't playing well.
Did you say are they going to have a hard time keeping them out of the media if they don't play well? Is that the question? Now, if that's the
Yeah,
question, no, they're not going to have a
yeah.
hard
Can coaches keep their players out of the media if
if
they
they
don't
don't.
play well individually or as a team?
I think before we even get to that question, the kids don't talk. Hey, we've seen it. They all look. There's so much. Look, it's like a graph or a slope. You could take it. The apex of all the talking is before anyone's done anything ever been seen.
Right.
That's the apex. That's the highest. Oh man, I am the greatest thing on God. You gonna see. Watch this. Bet. Wait till the season start. Like that. There's so much. Oh God, you can insert catchphrase and switch out the regional slang wherever you need to. But it's the same thing before you ever step on a court. Over and over and over. That's the apex. Then you move a little bit further down that slope is when the games get going. People had some good games here and there, maybe some moderate games. And then there's a little bit of talking. But for all that cash that they've been talking head-to-head matchups or anything else, and that I am God's gift to everything. I am Michael LeBron, Kobe Jordan. All these different things that are said. Once they have a bad game or they start struggling, you don't even hear from them. Yeah, you ain't got to keep them out of the media. They don't even say anything. The accountability to step up and say, "Hey, I should have done this in this game, in the post games, or I could have done better here, or learning how to navigate media." This is just prep. You can wait till they're in the pros or in college. Forget the pros, and they're getting interviewed and they're actually held accountable for the team, and them supposing to have been a leader. But they get super quiet, man. Some of these guys skip the post game interviews when they don't play well. They give one word answers. It was bad. I mean, look, yeah. Why y'all picking on me or all that, man? You got to learn how to navigate. Got to learn how to navigate PR.
Yeah,
I think your
that's
question's
why
a valid
we're here.
question. I think it's a valid question. But I will add, for a lot of these kids, if they're not doing well, they ain't got nothing to say anyway. Like there's no two sides of that. It's all braggadocious or it's nothing at all.
Oh man. So yeah, I look, man. I really, really hope that these coaches will be a little more um involved with their kids when it comes to the press conferences and getting them to answer questions in the right way or teach them how to navigate the media, because this is number one, this is what we're here for in SimWorld Prep. It's prep for everything. For the next level of basketball, for playing, for dealing with the media that comes with the next level, college and the pros, because like you said, you know, if you think it's bad now, wait till you get to the next level, and the next level after that, it's only gonna get worse from there. With higher levels of skill comes higher levels of expectations as well. So yeah, I think that if the coaches can if the coaches are able to talk to their kids about how to handle the media and how to conduct themselves in a way, and the owners get involved too, because I know we have some owners out there who are involved or were involved with the media in their own various ways, shapes, and forms. I think that that's going to be a big part in all of this. So, can they keep their players out of the media if they don't play well? Debatable.
Yeah.
Debatable, leaning towards no, because we know how these things go. You know, if someone isn't getting a lot of minutes, or if someone isn't performing like they should, that kind of stuff. Like you said, they could be quiet, but they could also go the other direction and put the blame on someone else instead of themselves.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, because I think that's likely to happen. Oh, so and so didn't do this, or coach isn't using me right, or oh,
Yeah,
blah. If throwing the coach under the bus when you're in high school, that's a bad sign. I don't know how that works out for your future. We
right.
saw a little bit
Yeah,
of that last season. I won't get
yeah,
all into that, but can they keep their kids in check? I think we have a few coaches. We have a few coaches that have good control of their locker rooms and their teams. We have a few that are more of I'd say, player coaches, which I don't know how that works out at this level. So we'll see. We'll see. But I think the kids keep themselves in check, to be totally honest, as far as when they're not playing well. Once they finally say something, though, it's just word vomit at that point. It's just an explosion of feelings, emotions, and words. So I don't
right.
think there's
Which is
any.
understandable. Understandable, given the kids' age. And as a reminder for those of you, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, the show this morning, these are 15 to 17-year-old kids. So those things will happen. Obviously, you're gonna get the word vomit and that kind of stuff. So it comes with the territory. But just be prepared for all of that. We only got a few weeks left now until things really get kicking here. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Until we get there, though. Until we get there, though, we got a little more social media stuff to talk about this morning. A little bit more. A little bit more.
Look, man, I was
Renzo.
chilling last night.
Yeah, yeah,
I was
go
laying
ahead. Go
low.
ahead.
I was laying low. The doctor's note was in. Everybody
Yeah.
was trying to get prepared for work or school in the morning, trying to get their doctor's note. Doctor's note came in. Information was provided out of nowhere. And somebody set the doctor's note on fire. I was like, "What is going on? What's happening here? What is happening?" Renzo,
Yeah.
Carson, and Kai Killens. Oh man, it was entertaining. I can't wait to see these guys lock horns. I don't know if it's something that gets flexed in or not. They had to get with the league on that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a fun matchup either way it goes. And there was some good. Hey man, I'm a big fan of some good, respectful cash money. Noise talking. I always have to.
Yeah.
I have to check my sailors vocabulary here. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fan of the good cash talk, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this: Renzo and Kai Killens particularly are two of the most active guys in all of SimWorld Prep. So you guys, I appreciate what y'all bring to the league. I appreciate the activity. I have no favorites in any of this, but I do have to say the term Kai feelings had me crying. Oh, B-Ron, I was
That's
crying.
crazy.
I cried. I cried. So shout out, hey OTR crew, that should get double, triple flowers. I'm calling it now. If it's not, we canceling the show. No, I'm joking, man. But no, good stuff. I can't wait to see him lock horns. I think Kai Killens is a great player. Him and Renzo do two different things respectively. And they're young. They may end up being the same player down the road. There's so much developing that has to be done. And then
Right.
you add in the Carson Cutbirth aspect of it, and the whole Gulf Coast lockdown team. We haven't heard from them in the media, which is not a bad thing always. But we haven't heard
Right.
much from them, and all of a sudden they came out in a swarm. I was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
this is crazy!" But good stuff on a late night. Like it really was. I was probably 3/4 into my bottle of wine when I saw that, so it was entertaining. Thank you,
That
guys.
it was absolutely wild, man. Absolutely wild. One of the things too that kind of surprised me was the fact that once it seemed like I said, all the Gulf Coast players got involved. Renzo was still kind of there, taking the punches and uh, holding his own, if you will. Um,
Yep.
and that's good to see. Good to see that he can do that and doesn't let that get to him because a lot of people in that situation would have backed down when you realize, oh hey, I'm outnumbered. I need to, you know, maybe step back for a little bit. But no, Renzo, he was in there. He was in there, still trading bars, and I like that. I like that. Hopefully,
Would have definitely liked to see his team pop in there and have his back some. I will
yeah,
say that
yeah,
I
I
don't know where
agree.
the rest of the QC was, QCK, but Renzo's a dog and he'll do what he needs to do. And then Kai Killens definitely clearly has supported his entire team, and it was a fun interaction. And this is what it's all about. It still seemed like I won't call it friendly. I don't know if that's the word, but it was respectful, and that's how beef is handled. I like it. It didn't go overboard, anything too ridiculous at all.
Right, right,
This should
exactly. Yeah.
bleed onto the court and make for quite a rivalry. We'll see what it is down the road.
Yeah, it didn't, like you said, it didn't get too out of hand like you've seen in the past when these kind of things go down. So it was good to see that everybody kind of kept it in check and kept it respectable, quote unquote. And we'll leave it at that, man. We're excited to see where it goes though once the season gets going. Like I said, maybe that game gets flexed in at some point. To that to
I'll be
SimWorld TV game
I'll be
at
checking
night.
the schedule this morning just to see if that's on slate. I'll be looking forward to it. So we'll see.
Absolutely, absolutely, man.
All right, man. What
Yeah,
is the toughest region in SimWorld Prep this upcoming season? You got here. I like to call them out because I think they're just fun names.
yeah,
Shout out to whoever came up with these. Founders region, which is pretty much made up. Let's just talk through it.
yeah, yeah,
Primarily made up of East Coast teams or the founding cities or areas in the U.S. Essentially, the oldest representatives of the U.S. is what that's
yeah,
primarily made of. You got the Neo region. I think that makes perfect sense. It's the newest states to the U.S. The latest additions to the U.S. is what that is, and primarily out on the West Coast and a little bit closer in for a team or two. Then
yeah.
you got the Southern region repping the South. Hey, that's where the good cooking and the good eating and the big butts are. Other than that, other than that, you know what the South is. Then you got the Intercontinental region, which is everything outside of the continental United States. That's why Canada has made its way. The North is on the Founders region because it's part of the continental U.S. It's part of America. So the
That
intercontinental
makes sense.
region
Yeah.
you have there. So those four regions, man, which one is the toughest for you, B-Ron?
Ooh, man. I'm torn between two of them, honestly. Just looking at the teams here, I'm looking at the Founders in the Southern region as far as my two. But if I had to pick one between those two, I'm gonna have to say that I think the Southern region is the toughest of those two, and that may be surprising to some because Run DMV is in that Founders region, and there's some bias there. But putting that aside, I think Southern region is going to be the toughest, most competitive this season. Lone Star's in there, Queen City's in there, Yacht Club's in there, and all three of those teams are I don't want to say stacked, but they're very strong looking on paper. You can even throw AT Aliens in there as well with Royce Anderson being there now. I think that he's gonna give them a big boost. So just looking at it right now, offhand, off paper, so it's Southern for me. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going Founders region. I think
Okay,
all the
yeah,
other regions, I think the Southern region, there's definitely some tough teams in there, as you said, and there's some notable players. But the cohesion, chemistry, and clear identity is not there. Neo region, there's a whole lot of talent, a whole lot of scoring, a whole lot of bucket getters in the Neo region, a lot of big names. But what I don't see out in the Neo region, which I think is also indicative of different styles of play, in my opinion, I don't see as much emphasis on defense. Intercontinental, it's a hodgepodge of things for me, so I can't go that route yet because there are some standout teams that I expect things from, but I don't know if it's going to happen. And then there's some teams, then there's some teams that I don't think are going to be so great. East Coast, I
yeah,
think I know for the most part, every team in that region, if you think they're great or not, I think most of them hang their hat on defense. I think it's going to be grimy and hard. They're going to
We can
battle.
agree
There's some
there.
clear
Yes, absolutely.
identity, so there'll be no easy wins when you go up against teams in the Founders region. I'm talking outside of even the notables. You got Bad Boys, Gotham, whose name is kind of falling down the line a little bit here. Lakeshore Drive and Run DMV. Those are no cakewalks. I think the originators, Beast of the East, Philadelphia, we already expect that they're going to be really good and grimy, but those other teams, it's going to be hard fought. So I'm going Founders region.
All right. All right. I like it though. I like it. Look, we are on opposite sides of the fence for once. I like it, man. I like it. Well, look, we gotta get out of here. That's it for today. Thank you all for joining us on SimWorld today. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. We may have a guest tomorrow. We may not. Just have to kind of finalize things here on our end, and if not, then we'll definitely have one Friday for sure. But until tomorrow, you guys, remember, SimWorld's the only place where you can see the game, be the game. We'll see you tomorrow.